Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke. Donald Trump often appears on Fox, which is ironic because a fox often appears on Donald Trump's head.
Yo, Seth Meyers was the first to make that joke, y'all.
Donald Trump said recently he has a great relationship with the blacks, though unless the blacks are a family of white people, I bet he's mistaken. Mr. President, look at your hair. If your hair gets any whiter, the Tea Party is going to endorse it.
A little throwback Schadenfreude. Seth Meyers on fire. I found that on Twitter. It made me feel good. Like I said, throwback Schadenfreude. I hope everyone's doing well today. It put a smile on my face. It put a smile on my face, and I hope it put a smile on your face too. That's what I hope. If not, then we have a bunch of other things that should make you feel good. It should make you smile. It should propel. I'm going to do I don't know if I have a good side or a bad. I don't have any good side. Neither side is good, but I'm going to do my majestic pose. Hopefully, after watching the show will propel you to all kinds of happy productivity and all that positive puppy dogs and rainbow stuff. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's see what's going on. Tobin Templeman read my morning humor piece over my blog, Laughing in Disbelief. And I'm going to tease it. I'm going to tease it a bit because I'm stupid. That's why I I made this image. It's poorly done. It's a poorly done image, but there we go. The basic bit I wrote on my blog, Laughing in Disbelief, features Eric Trump. And yes, that is Major Biden and Champ Biden on Jeopardy. And as you can tell, not only so that was the premise of the joke, that Eric and Champ and Major are on Jeopardy. And so that was, I don't know, I thought it was funny at the very least. So I hope everyone's doing well. I was thinking about the question of the day, and I was talking to my girlfriend about this, about the best part of my day every day. Of course, I love doing this, and so the question is fill in the blank. My favorite part of the day is blank. I don't know if you all have the favorite part of the day. For me, regardless of whether or not I'm doing the show or not, it's my second cup of coffee. The first cup of coffee, ladies and gentlemen, it's just a start just to prime up my system, just to prime up the engine, just to kick off the rust, so to speak. That's the first cup of coffee. The second cup of coffee is where the magic happens. That's when the creativity, kind of the Christmas tree of creativity, lights up in my mind. That's what happens with me. And of course, my third cup of coffee is basically life support. My third cup of coffee around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's just life support. Caffeine is taking the paddles. It's taken to my chest and just trying to keep me functional. It's just keeping me functional. But my favorite part of the day is the second cup of coffee, which just happens to coincide typically with me doing this show. That's why I love doing the morning show, by the way. I am at my creative peak right here and now. Sure, I can perform late night. As if any of you see me at 10:30 at night on Sundays, yeah, I can perform, but at nighttime. But I like this time right here with my second cup of coffee. I feel like I'm like shiniest. Derek Cruz, Critical Cripple. How you doing? Wild Eden, good to see you. Negative God. I'm so amused with that nickname I have for you. I hope it's positive. I hope you like it. Morning, I need my kafefe. Indeed. So that's my favorite part of the day. I woke up this morning and, I initially start my day with a cup of coffee, and then I flick on social media, and I'm going, why isn't coffee trending every single day? Why isn't it trending on Twitter? Well, because it's Twitter. That's why. Because it's Twitter, and there's no justice on Twitter, apparently. Oh, wait, I'm teasing a story for later on in the show. I'm teasing a special Twitter ban. A special Twitter ban. Negative God. The best part of waking up is no a-hole in the White House. Well said. Well, so that's like all the time. It is like all the time. This weekend feels like it's been going on forever. Yep. As I mentioned before on the show and on other shows, there are times I will look to my child or to my girlfriend, since those are the only two people I see now face to face, and I'll go, just to confirm, today is insert name of day. And 9 out of 10 times they will say, yes, today is that day. But it does seem very, for the beginning of the apocalypse, as many of you know, I was working my 9-to-5 job. It wasn't really a 9-to-5 job. It was an 11 at night till 9 a.m. in the morning job. And so that kept some kind of, my head was able to wrap around the days of the week. I haven't been working for months. And so now it's just like, as Dave said, Critical said, it's like one large weekend. It's like an ocean of time. It's an ocean of time, like it's some kind of Lovecraftian story. It's just like you're just existing in time. Wild Eden, 5 p.m. is the fave part of my day. Is that because you're out of work at that time? Is that the end? Or are you just naturally more creative and more awake? It's funny. I had a boyfriend back in the day, and he always had this nighttime schedule. So he was always up late and worked into the night. And because I'm a morning person, I was up early. And so what does that mean? What happens when you date someone who has a wildly different internal clock than you? Well, you get sick. And that's when I got mono. That was when I got mono, is when I was trying to stay awake all the time. And it turns out people need sleep. I like that. That should be a short story, Wild Eden, is that during the pandemic, it's an eternity of Sundays. You're right. I really like that. Wild Eden say, yep, yeah, you log off of work at 5 p.m., so you're off. Yeah. Very good. Well, it's good that you still have a job, Wild Eden. Congratulations. Job well done. So that was a story. So here we go. My favorite part of the day, once again, is my second cup of coffee, which I am sharing with you all. So what do we have going on the show today? I'm glad that you asked. We have we got a couple of crazy stories, a couple of feel-good stories. I'm going to tease a couple of them right now. We have a Stabby McStab story about a wife who stabs her husband for all the wrong reasons. There is a victory in the Twitterverse that we can celebrate together. Rudy Giuliani, his $1.3 billion problem. That's like Schadenfreude sauce right there. We're going to talk about his legal issues and, of course, Trump's looming impeachment trial. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this will be exciting. Jess M, glad that you're here. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. All right, so where are we going to start off? I thought I'd start off on a high point about, I saw this piece, I think it was like the Yucatan Times, and I thought it's so weird. And it says something about, oh, wait, I forgot to do memes. How could I forget to do memes, guys? I had all these crazy stories I want to share with you, but I forgot to go with memes. And so let's just continue this positive vibe we got going here. Let's continue the positive feel goods. I love this comic, by the way. Bizarro. The human body is a wondrous miracle of nature, with the exception of a few small areas that could destroy society if exhibited or discussed in public. Yes, indeed. that is calling to our lovely puritanical attitudes towards sexuality in the human body. And if you notice here, you got some sensors. You got some sensors here over the naughty parts of the female anatomy. I thought that was worth sharing. All right. He indeed. All right, let's go to the next one. This is from friend of the community, friend of the humanist community, Leanne Lord. I thought this was on point. Why did it take all day to deliver one article of impeachment? Didn't Nancy Pelosi use her Amazon Prime account? That was cute. That was cute. And it does underscore, one article of impeachment. That should do the job if they convict him, right? 17 Republican senators. Oh. Yeah, we'll be seeing that in the upcoming weeks. February should be pretty, February is one of the crappiest times of years for me, personally speaking. I feel like I'm done with winter. I'm done with the cold. I'm done with the darkness. But February is going to be impeachment month. It's going to be, at least a portion of February is going to be dedicated to the impeachment. And I am excited about that. Negative God says, your body is not a temple. It's an amusement park. I was talking with Jason Folks from the Dragons and Genesis podcast about Corinthians 1 and 2, where Paul, waxes on and off about the body being a temple. And, oh, my fictitious God, when I was growing up, my parents were teetotalers. One of the reasons why they were so miserable, Baptists. And my mother would always say, your body's a temple, your body's a temple. And that just made me want to drive that temple into the ground, to tell you the truth. Just hearing that over and over again when I was a kid. All right, let's see what else we have for the third and final bit of funny. I thought this subtle joke reveals an innate truth about American society. When they discover oil under the U.S. Capitol. And of course, it's all those National Guard people, those poor National Guard soldiers having to stand guard to make sure that the Capitol doesn't get overrun again by fascists, by terrorists right there. But the joke is, of course, what if we ever discovered oil under the U.S. Capitol? We would have to invade it, of course. All right. So we got 3 memes done. We got the 3 jokes done. Let's go for the first story, which is McStabby McStab. McStabby McStab story I found, I think it's like in the Yucatan. The link is in the description about Stabby McStab and her husband. It's an endearing romantic story, which I think should be on Lifetime, Oxygen, Hallmark. It's a Hallmark story. That's what it is. If we can somehow make this tale a Christmas story, it would blow up on the Hallmark channel. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you the story of Stabby McStab and her husband. Confused, jealous wife stabs husband after seeing her younger self in old photos. Confused and jealous wife stabs husband after seeing her younger self in photos. Let's just go. Let's just see what the story's about. A woman stabbed her husband several times after thinking she found photos of him with a younger woman. It turns out that she herself was the other woman. The photo of the couple was taken years ago when they were dating, police in Sonora, Mexico said. So she stabbed him several times because she looked at his phone, saw him with a younger woman, and said to herself, I'm not having it. He's cheating on me, and I'm going to stab him. And it was her. Authorities from the municipality of, I'm going to butcher this name, Kajimi, reported that a suspect identified only as Leonora N. was arrested for wounding her husband, Juan N., with a knife after finding several photos on his cell phone. The husband, who managed to take the knife from her, explained that the photos were of them back when they were more youthful and slim. See, that's his mistake right there. He shouldn't have mentioned that they were youthful and slim. I think that maybe just would bring up feelings, angry feelings, more angry feelings. Juan apparently convinced his wife that he had digitized the old snapshots to store on his cell phone, which was sweet, right? I mean, if they were just on regular film and then he digitized them and put them on his cell phone for him to look at occasionally, I think that's a really sweet thing. But she was like, who knows why she was checking his cell phone? Who knows? Maybe people just do that. And then she saw a picture of the two of them in thinner and younger and did not recognize herself and stabbed him several times. Dave, she might have anger issues. Maybe she has anger issues. Wild Eden. That's more tragic than even Shakespeare could invent, indeed. Brainbug. Glad to see Brainbug this morning. Oh, this is interesting. Never again. Said I was raised Baptist, but I sure saw plenty of them drinking. Yeah. My parents were very not teetotalers. My dad had a few beers before he married my mom, but she set him straight. She's like, "You're marrying me, no more drinking." So he gave up the occasional beer. Probably made him a bit more miserable. But yeah, this woman stabbed her husband several times. So, I mean, and oh, here's interesting. Phil Lister, good to see you. When my ex stabbed me unsuccessfully, the thought occurred to me it was time to exit. You know, Phil and everyone in the chat, you might be surprised from my many stories about dysfunctional relationships I've had that, yes, I have been on the receiving end of potentially dangerous situations with past relationships. And that is usually the call. That is the red light. The red light in my head that says, I got to get out of this relationship. If there is any kind of real possibility of danger, that's when I got to go. That's when it's time to end the relationship right there. And it's obvious. It's obvious that things would have gone differently if they had a handgun in the house, or if they had a rifle in the house, or a shotgun in the house. So against to being stabbed, which the man survived, she could have just shot him. She could have just shot him and dropped him. And it would be, instead of something that we can say, wow, that's a crazy story, it would be a tragic story. So once again, this is the difference between having a handgun in the house and not having a handgun in the house. There's a big difference here. It might have gone differently in Arkansas. That's all I'm saying. This story could have gone a lot differently in Arkansas, Mississippi, one of the states that flooded with handguns. All right, so that was our first tale. Oh, yeah. This story makes me feel good. I know a lot of these stories that we're going to be talking about today make me feel good, and I hope they make you feel good too. But justice. Let's talk about justice for a minute. For the last 4 years or so, and back in like 2006, before the election, you had all these right-wing fascist, Christo, oligarcho, fascistos, racistos who were just shooting their mouth off day after day, and you couldn't get away from them. They were on social media, they were on the news, they were on different social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. And now, thank my fictitious God, there is a culling of the idiotic herd right now. And this is just a newest edition of people getting kicked off social media. Here's the newest edition right here. Oh, not the My Pillow guy. Not him. Look at him. He has the SADS. Twitter permanently suspends My Pillow CEO for election misconduct. information. Such a shame. Such a shame. Where did I find this story? I think it was on CNN. I don't know. Links are below. But my pillow guy, no longer on the Twitters. Let's take a look at the story. Reuters, here we go. Twitter Inc. has permanently suspended the account of My Pillow chief Mike Lindell for repeated violations of the company's policy on election misinformation, the social media firm said late on Monday. Lindell, a devout supporter of former U.S. President Donald Trump, financed post-election protest movements in a bid to overturn the election win of President Joe Biden. Lindell used his personal Twitter account, which had nearly 500,000 followers, before being suspended, and the company's account to spread unsubstantiated claims of widespread voter fraud in the presidential election. What are all the fascists going to do on Twitter without their My Pillow guy? But wait, there's more. Is there more? There's more. A self-described former cocaine addict and alcoholic. If you didn't know that Mike Lindell was addict in recovery, then it all makes sense. You see a lot of people who are stricken with some kind of addiction. They find the Jesus, and then they make all of our lives miserable. They make the free peoples of Middle Earth's life like miserable. I think probably Sauron, to tell you the truth, was probably an addict. He found Jesus, and then he decided to make orcs and make everyone's life miserable on Middle Earth. That's what I think. Maybe I'm being a little divergent here, a little tangential. But Mike Lindell, true to form, was an addict, multiple, substance abuse addict, found the Jesus, and then decided, not only am I turning my life around, I'm going to make pillows, but I'm going to make everyone's life miserable. Let's continue. Let's see. A self-described former cocaine addict and alcoholic who says he found sobriety through Christianity, Lindell helped sponsor a two-week March for Trump bus tour that ended in Washington, D.C. on December 14th and spoke at 5 stops. He told Reuters a fortnight ago that he did not help finance subsequent trips to promote the January 6th riot that devolved into riots as supporters of Trump stormed through the U.S. Trump. It doesn't matter, Mike. No Twitter for you. No Twitter for you. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Rudy Giuliani. Yeah. We're going to get to Rudy Giuliani. Because the Giuliani story is really just the first chapter. It's an early chapter in the books of litigation that we're going to be getting to pretty soon. No, people have survived face shots with shotguns. Yep. It's not pretty. I have stories because I was working with people who have brain injuries for over 20 years. Stories about, you think to yourself, wow, that was surprising. I thought that would have killed someone. Those 2 shots to the head didn't kill her. And then you see, on the other hand, these weird, a guy just falls off his bike with a helmet on and just suffers horribly. Let's see what's going on. How can someone as dense as My Pillow guy own a business? Good question, James Henry. I'm glad that you asked it. You see, Mike Lindell loves to wear that cross, and Christians love to buy within the cult. So I think when you have a ready-made fan base of fanatics who think to themselves, I need to buy a Jesus pillow. I need a pillow that's filled with, I know Mike Lindell doesn't call it a Jesus pillow, but you know what I'm saying? It's branding. So he is reaching out to this cult of fanatics who just want to buy more stuff. And so I think that's one of the reasons. And we also talked about Mike Lindell actually opening up shop in the UK and facing resistance over in the UK. That was a story we did a couple of days ago. Let's see. Simply Secular. Mike Lindell, My Pillow guy, kicked off Twitter. Well, what do you do on a pillow. You lie on it. Oh, hey, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Oh, yeah. Lindell, he's a creep. He tried to convince Trump. Lindell tried to convince Trump to declare martial law, which is, of course, the thing that we were all fearing. And I am, once again, maybe in 20 years from now, there will be someone who gets a historian who will uncover, possibly, this is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to be alive for this. A historian who will reveal the conversations between the Pentagon and the White House. The idea that if you declare martial law, then things will happen to you, and they will not be pleasant things. Because you don't have to be a genius to figure out that there were discussions between active military personnel and Trump about what lines you can cross and what lines you can't cross. Lindell should make a Jesus body pillow. Good point. All right. So Mike Lindell, he's off Twitter. Such a shame. Something to feel good about, though. Oh, hey, what's the next story? I'm just checking out my set list here. And we have the next story is about Trump begins speaking with impeachment lawyer even as he scrambles to build a defense team. Now, Trump is known he was going to be impeached, right? Highly probable. Don't you think he should have been already have a legal team in place, already got his crew set up? Of course, it might be difficult to set up a crew when there is this reputation that he has justly earned by not paying people. As we all know, Donald J. Trump likes hiring people. He likes them working for him, but he doesn't like paying for those people. So maybe, possibly, that could have something to do with the fact that now he is scrambling to find lawyers to defend himself for the impeachment trial. Let's take a look at the story. CNN, former President Donald Trump is still working to assemble a full legal team for his Senate impeachment trial. I would love, and this is how I would do it if I was doing the Hollywood movie, or the TV miniseries, I would have Trump represent himself. The man, the ego, taking central stage, knowing nothing about the legal system, and just blathering and blithering on. I might give a kidney. I might give a kidney, like my kidney too. Not somebody else's kidney. That's weird. I don't even know why you guys mentioned that. But I think Donald J. Trump representing himself would have been the best thing in the world. But he's not. He's hiring a legal team. He's not that crazy. All right. Let's see. He is scrambling to assemble a full legal team for his Senate impeachment trial. People familiar with the matter told CNN on Monday, even as he has begun to craft a defense strategy with Butch Bowers, the South Carolina lawyer who has agreed to represent him on the historic proceedings. Bowers, a respected lawyer for Columbia, South Carolina, who once worked in the Justice Department under President George W. Bush, has been in conversation with Trump in recent days, according to two people familiar with the matter. I'm going to go with Bowers. Bowers was connected to Trump by Senator Lindsey Graham, of course, the lapdog of the president, a South Carolina Republican who is helping to add new lawyers to the team. Mr. Bowers, good luck with that client. Good luck with the client of Donald J. Trump. I wouldn't want him. You know, I mean, what's your reputation going to be afterwards? You know, because everyone's going to know he's not going to pay you. And what if he gets convicted? You will be leading the defense team of the only president in history who gets convicted of impeachment. That's tough thing. When you're talking to future clients, it's like, aren't you that guy who represented the only president in U.S. history that was convicted in the Senate? The exact time frame of the trial itself, which will begin on the week of February 8th, is also unknown. But multiple impeachment managers have said they don't think it will go as long as the 21 days of Trump's trial in 2020. The expectation is still, however, that it will take much of February to wrap it up. The second impeachment is also expected to differ from the first in another way. Chief Justice Roberts will not be presiding, according to two sources familiar with the matter. Chief Justice Roberts must be thanking whatever God he worships that he doesn't have to be part of that at this point in time, that he doesn't have to actually be in the Senate to run the monkey show. Let's see what's going on. Instead, Democratic Senator Patrick Leahy, the president pro temp of the Senate, is expected to preside. The sources said the Constitution says the Chief Justice presides when the person facing trial is the current president of the United States, but senators preside in other cases, one source said. I believe Senator Leahy is the longest serving senator in the Senate, so he gets the job of running the show. Oh, yeah. Well, James Henry, Trump is the worst kind of client because he does not listen or adhere to legal advice. Yep, this is, yeah. His Phil Lister points out, spot on, his last legal team are probably regretting it. Oh, yeah, yeah. Right, so what happens if you're running the defense, right, and there's political violence because of the impeachment trial? So not only are you going to be smeared with having the only president in U.S. history being convicted, you're running the legal team to defend this guy, but you're also somewhat responsible for kind of domestic terrorism that goes on during the impeachment trial. Man, that is just not a winning combination for any lawyer to take part of, just not good. But once again, the winner in this situation is Chief Justice Roberts. He doesn't have to preside on this particular impeachment. He did his impeachment time. He did it the first time around. The next story. Like I said, it's going to be a chapter. There'll be many other chapters after this of Trumpists being sued for all the crap that they just ran their mouths, especially when they were trying to overturn the election. Rudy Giuliani was one of those people who loved to talk, and it's now biting him in the butt. What am I talking about? I am talking about, what is this? Election technology company Dominion sues Giuliani for $1.3 billion. $1.3 billion over the big lie about election fraud. $1.3 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for anyone, even if you're a billionaire. That might turn you into a millionaire. But Rudy Giuliani, $1.3 billion lawsuit because he was running his mouth about the voting machines, about Dominion-made voting machines. Let's take a look. And and it's putting a smile on my face. I'm hoping that this story bears fruits for days and weeks to come. Dominion Voting Systems is seeking more than $1.3 billion in damages. So it's more than $1.3 billion in damages. I haven't looked at their stock price. I imagine it's a publicly traded company, maybe, possibly. I haven't looked into it, but if they're, they probably have a pretty good position, they're standing on solid ground about saying that their brand has been hurt by Rudy Giuliani. So Dominion Voting Systems is seeking more than $1.3 billion in damages. Just as Giuliani and his allies intended, the big lie went viral on social media as people tweeted, retweeted, and raged that Dominion had stolen their votes. While some lies, little lies, flare up on social media and die within the next day, news cycle, the big lie was different, lawyers for Dominion wrote in the lawsuit filed in D.C. District Court on Monday morning. The harm to Dominion's business and reputation is unprecedented and irreparable because of how fervently millions of people believe it. Yes, millions of brainwashed people believe that, and still believe, they still believe Dominion's voting machines were fixed and cheated Donald J. Trump from the election. The lawsuit notes that while Giuliani spread falsehoods about Dominion being owned by Venezuelan communists and corrupting the election, he did not make those claims in lawsuits he pushed on behalf of Trump. Venezuelan communists. Very creative. Very creative. Dominion also details how January 6th, hours before a crowd of Trump supporters in Washington violently overran the Capitol, Giuliani continued to push claims of election fraud about Dominion in tweets, on a YouTube appearance, and in his own speech at the event. Giuliani said at the rally, without evidence, that he knew an expert who had examined Dominion voting machines and saw changed votes, concluding this election was stolen, according to the complaint. Dominion sent Giuliani a second letter asking for a retraction on January 10th, the company says. Giuliani has not retracted his false claims about Dominion, and many of his false and defamatory, I'll go with that, television and radio appearances and tweets remain available online to a global internet audience. Indeed, to this day, he continues to double down on the big lie, the lawsuit noted. You know, when I think about Rudy Giuliani, it makes me think about the Bell Tower shooter there in Texas back in the day. Remember hearing about the Bell Tower shooter? He just went up, famous story, right? Most of us have heard about it at least. Went up to the University Bell Tower and just started popping people, just started shooting and killing people. They found out he had a tumor in his head, like the size of a fist, or it was a big tumor. Giuliani, as you know, it's just a crazy, non-logical system of why Giuliani just keeps doubling down on the lie, when he's not getting anything out of it. If anything, he's suffering. He is suffering from it. So you may ask yourselves, well, Giuliani is getting sued for $1.3 billion. Who else is Dominion going to be shooting for? Who are they gunning for? Oh, they have a statement about that. When asked on a call with the media Monday if Dominion plans to sue Trump himself, Claire said, "We're not ruling anyone out." Donald J. Trump, you're on the list. I'm going to guess if there was like a Dominion list about who they're going to be suing, it would be Donald J. Trump is on that list. Oh, happy days, happy days. What? Oh, good to see you. Vesta, Freya, Dominion is a Canadian company based in Toronto, Ontario. Are you trying to tell me that it's not run by Venezuelan communists? Here we go. KCA Randy, good to see you. None of the insurrectionist terrorists and those who incited them expected any consequences. You know, it's like the bully in the schoolyard. And I don't know if you've I've had experiences being bullied when I was a kid. And there's a time that you stand up to the bully and the bully's like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do that. They do seem to have Giuliani, Trump, and all that club had the bully mentality that you're right, that they did not expect any consequences. And you see, and that's the playbook with Trump, is that Trump always went from lie to lie to lie. He never had a really big plan. He just thought that I'm just going to keep doing this machine gun of lies, just like that, a machine gun of lies. And it doesn't matter if people call me on one lie, because I'm going to just make another lie, and then another lie after that, and another lie after that. It turns out that will only get you so far, that you need a plan besides just lying to people. You need a plan. And his team did not have a plan. As you can see right now, Giuliani, $1.3 billion lawsuit from Dominion. Tobin, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around someone being accountable for that much money. I can't conceive it myself either. I mean, we throw words around, right? We throw words around like billion, but wrapping your mind around how much is a billion. There must be a YouTube video for that. like comparing piles of money, like what $1 billion looks like in terms of like cash. Yep. James Henry. Insanity is the only defense that Giuliani has. Yep. And being serious, I mean, I took, as a graduate student, I took a law and psychology course, and the standards for being legally insane now in this country are so high. It's very difficult for anyone to plead insanity, which of course is just a legal term and not actually a mental health term. But that's a whole nother video. All right, so that's Rudy yearns to be relevant. He does. Well, he's going to be in the news. He's going to be in the news a lot because of this lawsuit that's going on. He's going to be in the news. He's not going to be in the news in the most positive way whatsoever. And $1 billion, $1.3 billion. And what it is, it really does tease what's going to happen when Dominion gets to Donald J. Trump, when they get to him, and when they get to his crime family. If they're charging Giuliani with $1.3 billion, what are they going to charge them? What is Dominion? What number are they going to pull out? Like Giuliani, we sued Giuliani for $1.3 billion. So how many billions do we sue Trump for? That's going to be the question, because it'll be a question of billions. All right. So, wow. Oh, hey, never. Thank you. Hey, even if you folks can't stand the news, you can hit the thumbs up on this. That would be sweet. That would be nice. Thumbs up is always good. And, this is when we get to the point in the show where we talk about I talk about what makes me feel good. And maybe it'll be something that will make you feel good too. That'll help you. This is an old school video I did. It's supposed to be a funny video. It's amateurish, maybe. I'm not going to explain myself because it's supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. I made this video satirizing political fundamentalists like years ago. I'm going to upload it to my own channel within a short period of time. But I thought I would share this with you, and then once I share the video, we'll come back, we'll talk, we'll finish up, we'll wrap up. But this is my what I feel good about, and I hope you enjoy this. Da, 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 da. And hopefully you'll be able to hear it too.
I'm here to electrify the innards of our brothers and sisters in Christ with an instructional video on how to convert the godless. You may say, isn't it enough to oppress, deny, and abuse those who don't believe in the little baby Jesus? No, we must work terrifyingly efficient to save as many of the profane from their profanalistic ways so they too can convert the godless. The first step, finding somebody who needs spiritual saving. Luckily, I have somebody in mind. He is a Jew. Doesn't make him a bad person, but he is going to hell unless I connive a Baptist intervention.
Johnny Baptist, one-man revival just for you. Don't be half a Jew. Know know Jesus and be a complete, full service, saved again, completed Jew. What is this? What is this?
It's your opportunity to be born again, boy.
What's this about being half a Jew? My parents were Jewish enough to have been at Woody Allen's bar mitzvah.
Only Jews who've accepted the little baby Jesus have fulfilled their God-given destiny to become one of the chosen peoples. Third step, the attention of our target must be alerted by the words of our loving God. Gathered together for the great supper of God so we can eat the flesh of kings and moneylenders and mighty men. And that was my favorite Bible verse. Satan's laws, even this one, the forced aid of our Christified and heavenly vision of the little baby Jesus. I'm the little baby Jesus. No man, you can eat all the lobster and pork chops you want.
I'm sure you're a real nice guy when you're taking your medication.
Well, thank you, boy.
And I'm sure that Jesus Christ is a great personal savior for you.
Hallelujah, the boy's been saved. I can feel the blessed blessings from above.
Wait.
I'm going to start things in motion now.
We're going to find somebody else to convert.
I, Johnny Baptist, be baptized thee in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It is done. Uh-oh. I'm here to save you from the medicine of the faithless, brother.
That's not necessary.
Now for the miraculous miracle of all. Healing by the little baby Jesus. Let the healing begin. Oh, oh, heal. 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 Oh, oh. He is healed. Now that you're Christianized, you can start sending 10% of your income to my church. That's 10% pre-tax, gross income.
All right, so that was my bit. This is from years ago. You might notice in the chat that the person playing Johnny Baptist was an academic teaches over at a local university here in psychology, business psychology. The man loves to do it. I hope you enjoy the bit. Little baby Jesus. With I think the commando baptism was my favorite bit in the video. Simply secular, good to see you. Glad to see you, Julie. You came in at a very odd point, Julie, in the show. You came in at a very odd point indeed. Glad that you enjoyed it, considering, and I've been doing comedy here for like years, and so every once in a while I'll pull something out of the vault and share it with you guys, and I'll throw the stuff on my channel and stuff like that later on. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show. So what did we do today? What did we do? We talked about Rudy Giuliani getting sued for $1.3 billion, a woman who stabbed her husband several times because she saw a picture of her husband with a younger woman, and that happened to be her from years ago. Go back to if you're first tuning in, take a look at the show. We covered a lot of things, a lot of fun things too. What else did we cover? We covered the My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, getting kicked off of Twitter forever. How fantastic is that? That's gonna make my day. Going to make me a little happier through the day. And of course, the impeachment lawyer fiasco that's going on in Trump land. Trump scrambling to find a legal defense team because he is up for impeachment on February 8th. So Kalu Kalei, I hope you all had a good time. I am coming back here again tomorrow, 9 a.m. to do this all over again. Just to let you know, Jenna Belk is going to be coming on the show, well, on Best Advice Ever. She's coming on the channel, not on this show, but we're going to be doing a Best Advice Ever show with Jenna Belk, and that's going to be on Thursday, maybe around 11:30, I think, maybe around 11:30. And if you haven't seen any of the Best Advice Ever episodes, it's a quick show, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, where great people come on and talk about the best advice they ever got. So Jenna's coming on Thursday. I'm going to be back here tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Love showing up here, talking with you all, interacting, sharing stories, sharing laughs. Tomorrow, I'll see you then. Bye.